thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is like year 5 that we haven't seen my family for holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you, I was in a family situation where I was habitually playing a small drinking game. Now, here on Polysaturated, we do not advocate any kind of alcoholism, and you should probably, in a healthy situation, you will avoid self-medication. However, this is what I was doing, is I was taking my shot every time a family member said something that I had on a little mental list of what I was expecting them to say.
They call it a toxic family bingo.
Right. That was how I got through. Now, it wasn't that I'd get drunk. It was just that it was a fun thing to sneak away, and I was almost waiting for them to say the offensive thing as opposed to, like, dreading it. I'm like, come on.
I know you can say it. I know you're going to say it. It's just a matter of when. When is this going to happen?
Come on, Uncle Dave. I know you can do it. But it did make it fun. Probably not the best or healthiest coping method in the world, and it's not one that I recommend. Because what I'd actually recommend is having those conversations and communicating.
Gasp.
Yay! We get to take our sip of coffee.
Yay.
We're having a lovely morning in a closet.
In the closet.
Drinking coffee.
In the closet.
And we have we're having a good time speaking about this and talking to our listeners because we love our listeners.
Yeah. And hopefully this is helping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we really do.
Because we've all been there. We've all been on the struggle bus with family. It just so happens that the family that we don't get along with the most live like 1,000 miles away.
No,
so
it's only a few 500-600 miles.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So, we don't. And then we've built a community of family and friends here that are super supportive, but it's taken a lot of work and a lot of time. And it's not something that would have been appreciated had we just come out and shown up as a whole horde, like to somebody's house and not pre-warn them. Mm-hmm. One thing I would also suggest is if you are in therapy, schedule more therapy sessions closer to the holidays. Get those in early. That way you can talk through your things. Your therapists are actually licensed and experienced, right. And hopefully they have a really good rapport and relationship with you, and they kind of know your brains and how you operate and do things, so they can really help and guide you into being more prepared, being more aware, and able to process things through the holidays.
And be able to do it more healthy than probably what you were doing in the past,
right? And in general, I mean, a lot of these tips and things can help you in the future, not just in the holidays. And just be thankful for those that you do have on your support system. Express your gratitude immensely. Like one thing that I became aware of, like I said, with those memes and the things, it made me, not that I'm not grateful, extremely grateful or feel blessed. I actually posted something the other day about our community and how blessed we are. But seeing how toxically, I don't know, is that a word? People proceed with their holiday plans and stuff, makes me even more aware of how blessed we are, how grateful I am for those who are supportive and for those who are in our corner and those who we don't have to have those awkward or weird conversations with anymore, because we've already done that. We've done the work. We've done the things. And some people are just not going to be able to be won over or, want to understand.
Okay, so there's a couple of different things. There's people that will not accept things, and there's people that you think will not be accepting of it. And there's a big distinction between the two, because people that I thought wouldn't be accepting, whenever we came out to them, they actually were.
Yeah, I
was kind of surprised, and one of them being my uncle and his wife, and I was pleasantly surprised, which was awesome, because he's like one of my best friends, and I talked to him about all kinds of stuff. He actually sent me a message the other day, hey buddy, I'm thinking about you. Aww. Miss you guys, and we miss them too. And then we started getting on this big geek chat, which so it was fun, 'cause he's a big nerd too.
Yeah.
So, but he's one of the few family members I actually talked to.
He's more like a brother to you than your actual brother.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. More of the case. But yeah, it's kind of awesome to have a family member, in my corner, to talk to about stuff and just geek out with. And anytime I head down there, I'll go and sit with them and have a beer or something like that. So because we drink similar types of beer, so it's good to have a family member that doesn't rely on what they say about shitty beer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's it's like having sex in a canoe. It's fucking close to water. So that kind of stuff. So we actually drink real beer.
He's kind of a snob.
Life is too short for drinks that you don't like.
Exactly.
Yep. If you enjoy the other stuff, enjoy it away.
Absolutely.
Yep.
If you're enjoying yourself, you enjoy yourself.
Yep.
Have your things.
I think I want to move on to if you're monogamous or not, and you do have poly friends and family, how to support them through the holidays.
Oh, that would be great.
All right. So if
a lot of our listeners are monogamous people who come in and are literally listening just so they can understand their polyamorous family.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, kudos. That is amazing.
Appreciate you guys. Because,
Hero star.
Yeah. Not all heroes wear capes. And seriously, though, it's kind of a big thing to where, if you have poly friends and you're supporting them, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for being there for you. Thank you, even though you may not fully understand how the ins, outs, all this other stuff, and you're listening to us to help understand. Thank you. If you have specific questions about it, message us, please.
Absolutely.
We'll bring it up, and we can bring up a discussion on our page and all this other stuff. It'd be awesome.
And don't worry about how you phrase the question. We have heard it all. You will not shock us.
Yeah.
No, if you do, I'll be pleasantly surprised and be like, wow, that's impressive. But but the thing is, like, thank you for being there for your poly friends, even if you don't know exactly how poly works.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, that shows an amazing capacity that, if more people had, the world would be such a better place.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, because we have family members as well.
Yeah.
That are listening, that are monogamous, and they just want to understand us more, and they want to see how it works and hear all the things. And that's great. Thank you so much. So if you do have poly friends and family, the holidays can be really, really hard time for them, because there is a humongous chance that there are family and friends that they cannot spend time around. Like we mentioned before, it's kind of fortunate for us that we don't live so close to Zan's family, because we would have to make really harder decisions, and the holidays would be a lot harder for us. We would have to go and put on the fronts and spend, only a limited amount of time and this and that or whatever. And our youngest daughter would have to describe her older siblings as friends of the family instead of brothers and sisters. And that would be, it hurts. It kind of like twists a knife into your stomach and heart every single time. Like, at least for me, that does. Mm-hmm. Some people may be okay with it, but it hurts. Or I may have to describe Crow as, a family friend, and our children would have to edit how they address us. There's so many things that go into it. I couldn't be Mom J anymore to 3 of our kids. Crow couldn't be Dad Crow anymore to 1 of our kids. Like Dad Zan couldn't be Dad Zan to 3 of our kids. So there's a lot of things that go into that, and your poly friends and family are experiencing that a lot more during the holidays than they have in the past. So if you do have friends and family who are polyamorous and you are not, or maybe you are, band together with them. If they can't attend the family function that you were able to attend, maybe schedule some one-on-one time with them to show them, hey, I'm here, I support you, I'm your family, I'm your friend. Catch them up on the drama that went on during your family get-together or whatever. Try to make some extra effort and time to spend with them.
Back when our youngest daughter was younger, before we moved out here, her friends would come out to her because they knew that she was accepting of all different lifestyles and all kinds of different things. And so it was sad, but we were also thankful that when her friends were come over, they would be themselves around us.
Yeah.
Whether they were bi, whether they were trans, whether they were, any, part of the rainbow, they were accepted at our house. Even though they weren't accepted at their house with their parents or their family members, they were accepted at ours. And so, as you know, great as it was also kind of really disappointing that their family just did not accept them. But it made a difference in their lives. It made a difference that they can be themselves around them. And so when it comes to being a supportive person to a poly person, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
And if you think you're not doing anything, you're not helping, you're not whatever, you just being there and being supportive makes a difference in somebody's life.
Yeah.
More than you can imagine.
Yeah. My brother-in-law, Crow's brother, reaches out all the time, and it's like every single time it makes my heart melt, because it's like, oh my God, you know, like acceptance and love and understanding, and it's amazing, because you have so many times that you are misunderstood and people are just hell-bent on misunderstanding you, or not even. It's a way of being programmed to where some people just don't have the capacity to understand. So when you find people who do, and who are just genuinely loving and accepting, that is a true treasure, and it's really awesome. You know, the other thing is that if you are interacting with a poly friends or family, take a minute to figure out their dynamic and treat them as such. You know, if like when we introduced ourselves, and it was the 4 of us, or even now it's the 3 of us, you know, Zan and Crow are my husbands. I am their wife, and I don't expect anybody that I'm bringing them around to treat them any differently. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it may be a little bit more awkward, because they may have known Zan for a little bit longer than they've known Crow, but they're not to treat them any differently. And if you truly respect our relationship dynamic, you're not going to treat them any differently. And you're the same with the children. You know, like when we're bringing our children to an event or to a gathering, we don't expect our children to be treated any differently than our children. Even though it may be a blended kids by poly, they're our kids. They're all of our kids, you know. And so for anybody to describe them as anything different to somebody in the family or something like that, we've had a situation with family who's described some of our kids as our youngest daughter's friends. Mm-hmm. And no, it's not okay. And so then I'll correct them if I hear it. No, these are our children. So it kind of makes them look like an asshole, but that's what they did. They did that.
Right.
The more inclusive you can be, seriously, the better and easier and more relaxed your polyamorous friends and family are going to be around you. I guess I did have another note. You know, there may be some people who are kind of like, you know what? When you need your polycule to be there, you have to make that decision. You know, like if it's a really, really hard, tough thing that you're experiencing or going through, and you need them to be there for you, you make that decision and you do what's best for you, even if other people don't agree with it. And I know that's kind of maybe not popular opinion, but ultimately you get to choose. So if it's going to be easier, if you're trying to make a point, if you really need them to be there, you decide. You decide what's best for you. Bring them if that is what you choose, if that's what you need, if they all agree and you're making a point or something like that. It can be that way if you want it to be, if you're ready to accept whatever may come from it, or if you're just kind of done with the family situation and they've been mean to you and they've been horrible, and they're refusing to accept it, and you're just like, well, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't.
So fucking do it.
Bring it. Do it. You know, there are points in life where you have to be that way too. Right. You have to take a stand. You can't just cower and hide and keep the people who are important to you in the shadows. So when you need your fortitude and you need your crew with you, do it. And that, I guess, is going to be my last point. You know, we can be accommodating, we can be understanding, we can be, we can bend, we can change our will.
Yeah, basically, if you tried and, shit still ain't right, call them out on the bullshit and do what you got to do.
Yeah. because sometimes that's what you have to do too. Sometimes we have to take a stand. Sometimes we have to be that person, and we have to force the topic. And I'm not saying, storm in on great grandma's 91st birthday or whatever.